Hey everybody, welcome back to Tavern Talks. Today we have another special report. It seems this week has been nothing but special reports, but that's okay because that means there's a lot of cool things happening within the space. Today I get a chance to talk to Tony, and we're going to talk about their brand new Kickstarter that just finished today, if I'm not mistaken, and that is the Dragon Riders Primer. Um,
Yes.
I'm going to be that person and I'm going to say it and people can make fun of me and I don't care. I got hooked on Fourth Wing at one point for a while and I was like, you know what? Why not? Now, mind you, I grew up reading the Dragon Riders of Pern series, the Dragonlance series. So dragons have always really kind of been in the purview, but what? There has been such a giant drive for actual dragons in Dungeons and Dragons this year that has been much more than the average. So what is going on there? Do we know?
I just I always like dragons.
I always like dragons.
That
She's
is
like,
my thing.
she's
Yeah.
like, listen, this is just what I
Like
do.
I love dragons. Like anytime somebody asks me to write about dragons, I'm like, yes.
Yes.
um so I don't know if it's just because they had, there hadn't been a ton of dragon
Yeah.
stuff the last couple years and everybody all of a sudden was like, this is in
Right.
that name. We should
Why
probably
are
do some more of that. Yeah.
right? And I think the other thing is most people when they're playing Dungeons and Dragons and a dragon appears, it is a big deal. But also the fact that like you really can't unless you're at a high level, deal with the dragon. Like you just can't. They're big, they're monstrous, and they're dangerous. I don't know how Dragon Riders Primer is going to change that, or if it's not, and it's just you get to add this puzzle piece to the puzzle. Um, but we're going to talk about it today because that's what we brought Tony on for is to find out more about this Dragon Riders Primer. And hopefully we're not going to spoil anything because spoiling would be sad because we want
No, I
everybody
don't
to
think
go
so.
check
They
it out.
even put
So
out a bunch of previews. So,
okay.
like through the Kickstarter and bits of information but I will tell you that the idea from it was apparently because of Dragon Riders of Perrin and Fourth Wing, which I had not read yet.
Either?
I had not. Yeah. Well, I used to totally read. I just haven't had time to read anything but
Yeah.
rule books lately.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I was like,
I
I
haven't
need to
time to
read
read
this.
anything but rule books. That kills me.
Yeah, this is kind of annoying sometimes if that's your job. And I'm like, I would like to read something fun. So I
Yeah.
read it and I chewed through all of them in a week.
Oh, wow. So, what were uh how much of this did you write, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay. So, well, a significant part of it. So
Awesome.
originally we had three designers, and it was me, Sean Merwin, and Greg Marks. So
Okay.
we kind of divvied it up. Although Greg and I did the majority of the work.
Okay. Awesome. And what are some of the cool things that are featured in this book that maybe are not in an average D&D book? Since this says you can ride dragons, I feel like that's one of these things.
Yeah. So this book is all about kind of adding that extra element of
Hmm.
flight and having, now you're talking about 3D movement and space, and that kind of changes things other than like, hey, I've got a pizza box thing that my miniature is on. And um, but it doesn't, it has lots of dragons, it has lots of different kinds of dragons.
Yeah.
It has rules for mounted combat now, for aerial mounted combat.
Aerial mounted combat. So not just mounted combat,
Correct.
aerial mounted combat.
Correct.
Okay.
Aerial mounted combat, which should be pretty fun. And then
Yeah.
there's like a plethora of different kinds of mounts. So there's not just dragons in it.
Okay.
There are insects and mammals and fantastic sorts of creatures. Um, so that, there's a little bit of a variety kind of
Okay.
there, at least for that sort of thing. Um, this particular book is has a lot of dragons, which are um, these dragons are the unintelligent dragons at this point. There
Oh,
will
okay.
be, the plan is, as far as I understand, to have a second book, which will be Intelligent Dragons, because that is a
Mm.
whole different ball of wax because dragons are intelligent, and basically you will have another character.
Oh, okay.
So that,
That's where
these,
the difference is going to shift. Is these are unintelligent dragons. They're built more like mounts and minions type characters, creatures, rather than the intelligent version,
correct.
which would be more like a player.
Yes. So
Awesome.
it's there's a lot of different things in there, and it was pretty fun to kind of go through the different ideas. And um, I did laugh because it's fun to work with different people, and Sean and Greg are awesome.
Yeah.
They are very creative and fun, and everybody's like, all right, so everybody gets to do X of these and these and these. That's how we
Mhm.
divvied it all out, like for the mount part at least. And I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like people calling dibs, basically. It was pretty entertaining.
That's
And I'm like,
awesome.
you snooze, you lose.
That sounds like it's like a fantasy football like drawing. Like no, that one's mine. That one's
Yeah.
mine.
Well, and we got to do whatever we want. They were like, there you go. Make dragons, make other flying mounts, go. And so like, okay. So, we made like one of the not dragon mounts that I made. I made a couple of them, but I made a reed glider frog. So I made a frog that, a flying frog.
Okay.
Cause and some ideas didn't make it because they were a little more out there for everybody. But everybody was having a little bit of fun trying to come up with different things.
How to
For their
what you
Kickstarter,
can
they
make
called me
the
our sovereign lady of squid because I made a flying squid.
you made a flying squid mount. That's
Which
awesome.
is a real thing. Like there's a Japanese flying squid,
Yeah.
and it like uses jet water propulsion to like fly around. Which I was like, okay, I have to do that. Like I have to like, you want animal ones, that one is gonna go for it.
Right? Absolutely. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of pull up the four images that you sent me, and we're gonna go over these a little bit. And the first one is just gonna be the Dragon Riders primer, and that hopefully will give some people some ideas of what we're looking at. So here it says also for those that are in the audience right now, if you have questions, please drop those in there because that is what Special Report is all about: is getting your questions answered from the Kickstarter right
Oh
from
yes.
the author's mouth because that makes it easier. But this one says this crunchy source book elevates your adventure to new heights and flying mounts for all characters and their adversaries. We're just going to pick each one of these bullets and kind of pick them apart. Level your hero with 12 new subclasses, and that is another one of our slides that we can grab here in a second. Suitable for use with the OG 5e as well as the 24 rules update. I think it's hilarious that now has become another saying in Dungeons and Dragons, the OG 5e. It's like, oh
Yeah.
gosh, here we go. Um, instead of 2018 versus 2024. Hopefully they're coming up with better options on how to blend those two. I still think they're just imbalanced completely. So my personal opinion, not
Yeah.
Wizards.
There's some differences there.
Yeah. So since we hit the subclasses first, we'll jump over to that one first. I'm gonna try to zoom in and see if we can. There we go. We can get some looks at these. So these are the brand new 12 classes, and I'm guessing they all have stuff to do with dragons.
They do. They all have to do with dragons or mounted combat
Okay.
or aerial mounted combat.
Yeah.
And so they all have sort of a different kind of a theme.
Okay.
Um, and it was fun. I did the majority of the classes. So
Okay.
yeah, that was one thing that I ended up doing. So it was rather fun.
Awesome. So we're just going to go down each one and just give me a brief synopsis. Like, I don't want to read it off the thing, but like top 3 points of each character class, just so we can get an idea of what kind of characters these actually are.
Well, I didn't work on all of them, so
So the ones you say, I'm sorry, can't do that one, that's fine. We can move past
it's
that.
probably like the first ones. Like I didn't do the
Yeah.
barbarian.
Okay.
I didn't do the bard or the cleric.
Okay. We got
What else you got there?
Circle of Storms Druid.
I did the druid.
Okay.
So that is very much like the sky and kind of a primal force, sort of an energy kind of a thing.
Okay.
So it's pretty fun.
Yeah. And then we got an aerialist fighter, which I'm guessing is just,
I did not do the fighter.
yeah, that one sounds very much, it's probably closer to like a mounted version of a Battle Master, maybe. I don't know. I'm guessing on these things. And then we got Way of the Transcendent Balance.
So I did
Really,
that one, and
artwork
that
is
was my actual
awesome.
favorite class to do.
Just look for speed and
I
power.
had this like kind of mental image of, you've got all these people riding dragons, and what if you had somebody who was yanking people off and throwing them off their dragons, and
Oh,
like jumping and kicking or stunning, like they're, and so it was very a little bit like, you know exaggerated, like a visual at least. But I was like, come on, I mean, what if somebody leapt on your dragon and like chucked you off, So
absolutely. Um,
that one's very much about impairing mounts and the riders themselves and doing fun tricks to do so, and having it be very like stylistic and fun.
oh, that's crazy. I will say though, with this, and it sounds a lot to me like we're running into a situation where we might actually have pretty heavy death in this game. Because if you're flying at like, I don't know, 100 feet in the air, like that's 60, that's what, 10d6 hitting the ground
Yeah.
for falling. Yeah, there could definitely be some danger in this one. Which I'm totally down because I feel like we are way too strong in this world right now. So leveling out the playing field, especially when a monk just kicks you off the mountain, you fall for your death. That's just hilarious.
I mean, that one was fun. I had
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun with this project in general. But I was trying to think, because there's a lot of stuff that has been done for D&D and
Oh yeah,
5th edition. Like, I get hung up sometimes. I'm like, I don't want to do what somebody else has done, even if it's just my spin on it. And
yeah,
you can't help it. Sometimes there's stuff that exists you don't even know exists, or you've never looked at it, or
yeah.
whatever.
I
But
mean, third party has blown up over the last probably 10 years. You never know what's out there now.
yeah, there's
Just
so much
in
of it.
just in basic combat or basic Wizards content alone has been a lot. So can't imagine.
Yeah. So it's kind of this project was a little bit of a challenge to kind of stay in that airspace, sort of, and kind of make sure that not only was I not duplicating things from past or other people, but even myself. Like sometimes I'd be like, okay, at one point I had this thing that was almost finished. My cat erased it. I was having problems with my OneDrive apparently, and it didn't save, and I had to do it again. And I was like, oh my, because I did all the feats too.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. So then even as I'm recreating them, I'm like, I already did this one. Wait, no, I didn't.
No, I didn't. Well, I did, but it's not. But it was deleted, so now I gotta redo it. Now I can redo it. Oh my goodness.
That was not a fun thing. She
Yeah.
just walked on it, and I don't know what happened, and OneDrive wasn't working right. And
oh no.
Yeah.
All right.
It was terrible.
So now we're moving to the Paladin, the Oath of the Aeronaut.
So that one is it's all about the freedom of flight. And air sort of being beholden to and sort of following that path of freedom through flight and the sky and stuff.
My thing just back. What happened? There it is.
Oh.
Yeah, we're back. All right, cool. And then we've got the Ranger, the Untamed Mistral.
Yes. So that one is all about battlefield manipulation in tandem with your flying mount. So you work, you work in tandem with your flying mount to be able to kind of battlefield control sort of thing a little bit.
Okay. And then we've got the Outrider Rogue.
You did not do the Outrider.
Okay. The Ashen Lamp Bloodline.
So that is kind of that one's a little more self-explanatory. It's a like a
Genie
Jin
type.
kind of a thing for a sorcerer bloodline with again it's a how did I kind of the thing is too, some of the things will be tweaked a little bit, and you know it's gonna be I'm getting so much spam still. My phone is like buzzing off the hook. It it's basically like you have this like fractured power, and it's not necessarily controlled.
Okay.
And it's uh like burning air, sort of a kind of a theme.
Okay, I got you. Then we've got a Pact of the Elder Worm, because everybody wants to have a dragon as,
That one, yeah, that one also is
unlock.
basically, yeah. That one is a lot of, you take, dragons are always imposing and big and sort of immovable sort of a things, and that was kind of the theme for
Got
that
it.
class.
And then the Thaumaturge.
Thaumaturge, I think that Greg did that one.
Okay.
But so I'm not exactly sure what the total theme is, other than arcane manipulation sort of a thing.
Yeah. Let's zoom back down, because for some reason my computer's like, hey, that's cool, but you have to be this first. Waiting for it to finish. Okay, it's gonna be dumb again. Minimize, open. Interesting. There it is. All right, awesome. So yeah, the 12 brand new classes or subclasses that you'll get, most of those are going to be close to, I'm guessing, 3 to 4 different features per subclass, which is pretty awesome to add those to your own classes. Now this is the big one, right? Like, we're talking about mounting up and taking wings with a host of brand new feats, spells, and backgrounds to boost the character's ascent. So before we dive into what those all could be, I think I got to understand exactly how does aerial combat work? Like, how does aerial flight work? Because everything's now in 3D. Like, there's a new feature here.
Yes.
Can you break that down? I don't know.
So it's, and they put out some sort of like a preview of the rules.
Okay.
So that you could kind of see what was going on, and let me. You know what? I can just open those for you, because it's the other thing that was a little bit different is the idea that you want. I didn't like, and we all kind of agreed. You get a creature amount and you throw it away when you get higher level, because there's like a better one. And so a lot of the abilities and feats and animals are made to advance as you do. So we used a lot of like your proficiency bonus. They get this bonus, and things happen when they get there. For the rules themselves, they are. I should have opened this beforehand, but of course I didn't. They had the idea is to and have those areas be more meaningful. Because you're right, it does. It adds a whole nother dimension that you have to think about to be able to appropriately get it moving. And I want to have a better way of saying this right now, but I want to have exactly what
the exacts on it. Yeah, if you can send me the link to that, I can pull that up wherever the Kickstarter demo is. So while you're looking for that, we've got one question in the chat room right now. It says, any sea mounts, dragon turtles, etc. We have already talked about a flying squid. This thing.
Yes, and there are many seamounts. We tried to
Okay.
do a variety. I, in particular, also tried to do like a variety of different, um, ecological things. So, like, there's a reef drake. So that's a
Okay.
dragon. That's a water, like a seed dragon kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And there was, let's see, I didn't see all of them, but so and there's ones that are like the top of the water, and there's ones that are not. So it kind of depends. Like a frog could technically be water.
Right. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
So
a flying frog. We found that out earlier.
I did a sand drake, for
Okay.
desert sort of themes.
Hmm.
It kind of did a variety, but yes, there for sure is seamounts, no dragon turtles, and we thought that would be done before.
Yeah. Flying dragon turtle sounds terrifying. Just
I
throwing it
mean,
out there.
that also is part of it, is that dragon turtles don't really fly, so
Yeah. Now you could have like a, you know, um, like an artificer, like goblin, that puts wings on it. That would be funny, but that's completely outside of the puzzle.
I mean, for this one, yes.
These are all naturally flying.
Yes,
Um,
they are naturally flying. And it was entertaining to kind of try to think of that, you know. But the idea is that the mounts themselves are going to be powerful, because basically a character has to give up, with some special exceptions, they give up what they're doing to control their mount because of the way
mm,
5e rules work. Now, there are feats and classes and things that can get around that. But there's defenses, how to, you can do, it's a lot of like the mounted combat feats that are some of that stuff that already exist.
yeah.
Um, you know, you have to designate points in the air for a lot of attacks
Oh, okay.
and things like that. So it's kind of, it is a more complicated thing. Um, there is, in doing this, and I had made an assumption, and apparently everyone else is, there is no hover in 5e.
No,
There's not. So we had to put rules for being able to
there is
hover.
now. It says right here, new
Yeah.
action hover.
Yeah. To be able to hover in place, you have to be able to, like you said, there's dangers of falling off. There's,
Yeah.
like I said, tracking elevation points of whatever's going on. There's a lot going on there, and there's a lot of maneuvers and things and feats. Like I said, I did a bunch of feats that were fun, trying to think of different ways to, and not double dip even what the classes do either.
Right. Yeah.
So the rules for aerial combat are still a little bit in play testing.
Okay.
They want to make sure that they actually work appropriately and they work the way you think. Because sometimes, I don't know if you've ever make something and then you're checking it out and you're like, oh,
Oh, this don't work nearly the way I wanted it to. Oh,
yeah.
absolutely,
Either
100%.
it's terrible and doesn't work that way, or you're like, that is way too good.
Too strong, too good.
Yeah. Whoops.
Um,
That will make everything way over the top.
yeah,
So
so we got some of the cool things. I'm just kind of scrolling through it
yeah.
on screen just for people to check it out. Um, so you have aerial mounts, kind of explains how to control the mounts, defending while mounted, tracking, of course. Any recommendations for people that are going to want to play this online? What VTTs they might want to be looking at? I don't know a single VTT that does 3D dimensions.
We had briefly talked about it, and I'm not sure that it's. You might have to just push it into a 2D sort of a a space or do more theater
Okay.
of the mind with a virtual tabletop. I mean,
Yeah.
there are going to be assets and things like that for your virtual tabletop, but
Ah.
I just don't know how that's gonna work. Like, because you can't like
Yeah.
be like, it's really up here, you know. I mean, maybe you could like mark like on the map and say, put like a note and say I'm 30 feet in the air or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
they gave these rules they gave away. So
Yeah.
they're free for anybody who wants to check out stuff and
Yeah. Reading like they already have stats on rate of falling. It's great. You can descend to 500 feet at a moment, or and then your next turn you send another 500 feet until you splat on the ground.
yep,
I mean,
somebody hopefully can grab you.
and hopefully they make it in time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things I was checking out is the new feat of mounted aerial maneuvers, which I think is going to be huge. You can get that ability to take. Of course, you can take that more than once because it's what this is kind of structured on.
Yep.
Or you can take multiple maneuvers, and then you start seeing these super crafty flight patterns and things like that, like you would see in a fighter pilot game or something like that, which I think is really cool. Um,
Oh
and
yeah, for
then
sure. And the idea is, you get again, hopefully you have a lot of variety and can
yeah,
make a fun character that fits what you want.
yeah, and like my curiosity is so in our Icewind Dale campaign that we're still playing in online. We have this big monster back here that's taking just blasting through Icewind Dale. If I can come up with how to utilize something like this to let our party have a little bit of you know, uh, a Griffin riding attack formation type would be because we already have Griffin riders in the game,
Yeah.
so this would be pretty interesting. Kobolds on giant bees, like if we see this image right here, is awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, we've got
They
just a
did a lot of fun too.
regular.
They were having a good time with the art and stuff too, and
The
like so
art
they
is
just have little
gorgeous.
bits. It's literally just little bits of
Yep.
pieces of things that are going to be in there, and
But it gives some ideas of how maybe even if you're waiting on while you're waiting on the book, how to manipulate other creatures and things like that to already start to be in this
oh
mentality.
for sure, oh for
Um,
sure, and each of unless it's changed, but I don't believe it has because I think it's in the preview there.
mhm,
Each of the mounts also has a younger version that does
mhm.
not fly. So if a DM
Ah,
wants to say, okay, I don't want to deal with flight at first level.
yeah,
I mean, because it's a very flight is a very powerful mechanic just in
absolutely.
general, especially natural flight. Uh, it is a very powerful mechanic, and if they don't want to deal with it, they could be like, "Look, you found this uh, baby, larva ladybug instead of the actual flying ladybug," that kind of a thing. So that gives the DMs the option to kind of make steps to where they want to be.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so we've got things like the Thunderblast Skydrake, which is a cool name. But then they say young, right? Like, and then you've got the Windlash Skydrake, and then there's a young version of that. Yeah, so that's really cool that you have the version where you can kind of get the players used to a type of mount where they don't have all the extra features of flight until later. And maybe that also allows your players, or not your player, but your game master to learn flight a little better before they just throw it off into
Well, yeah, because
beginner.
it's a lot that you have to add in there.
Yeah. And then here's your reed glider frog. And I'm sure I don't get
They
a
did.
picture of that
They
just
liked
yet.
that one quite a bit. So
Yeah, there's no picture of him yet.
especially for those, I was having kind of fun with those too. So I was watching a nature show
Okay.
and it was on big cats, but somebody randomly mentioned a flying squid. And I was like, that is not a thing. And then I was like, oh well, it is. So, and same, it's just fun to do different things and think about like I had for the squid, I had to think about how are you gonna ride that thing? like
Yeah.
have a special mount that you're kind of mounted on the side of it,
Hmm.
and like so it was an exercise in thinking of new stuff.
Yeah. You've got giant dragonflies. You've got spotted luck beetles, which is you know
It was ladybug.
ladybug. Um, but yeah, you've got giant insects. You've got small or large animals. You've got dragons. You've got animals that actually already have wings.
We had some mythical like beasts. Like there's a like a Gyno Sphinx, I think it was called.
Okay.
So it was it's kind of a time sphinx, or I forget what, but Greg did that one. It was pretty
Hmm.
cool. So a bunch of the idea was to have a lot of options and not just pigeonhole you into dragons, even though
Mm,
that is the main focus. So
right.
that you could have kobolds riding bees, you know?
Yeah, kobolds riding bees.
Yeah.
Um, and then on top of it, now not there, you're also following what seems to be kind of a new trend happening in the TTRPG space, which is you can get the basic version, or you get the cool looking collect version.
Mhm.
And it looks like you're modeling similar to how they're doing it with the current 2024 edition, with that single, much more less coloration on the page and whatnot. But the
So the
Dragon
artist
Rider
that we
Prime looks
got
awesome.
for the special art is the artist who did all the 2024 special covers.
Okay, so same one. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So yeah, we went over that. We went over some of the feats we saw. Don't forget to equip yourself and your mount with new gear, both magical and mundane. We didn't see any really new gear that we saw, but I'm sure there's a
They
bunch of
didn't
stuff
they
in
didn't
there.
put it in there, but there
Yeah.
is quite a bit
Yeah.
of new gear just because saddles and
Yeah.
mounts and different kinds of creatures are going to need different kinds of uh, ways to ride them or approach
Mm.
them or get them to bond with you or whatever, because the idea is, like I said, that these are not throwaway mounts. You
Yeah.
bond with them and they grow with you.
Okay. So they're not sentient, but they're more so like steeds and things like that. They grow with
Mhm.
you rather than just dropping. So, but yeah, no, that sounds awesome. And then last but not least, of course, there are some new rules that are going to be presented, such as long distance travel, mounted aerial combat,
Yeah.
and ways for I'm excited about it. Is there's probably a lot of ways to just implement this into any game rather than just what's going to be presented in here. One thing I was curious about, the one thing I haven't seen mentioned at least, is there an adventure in this, or is this just a supplement?
So I believe that adventure was one of the Kickstarter goals and
Okay,
did manage to get there.
awesome.
So, because there was like a big push here at the end, which is always kind of interesting.
Yeah, there seems to be a push at the beginning, push at the end type thing, and then that's kind of where the main hits are. So I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, there should be an adventure, and then they have that that journal that they were gonna do. So you could have added on the first of their OG 5e journal, which is sort of like the old Dragon magazines, but that first one I believe will favor obviously this Kickstarter.
Right.
So, but I thought that was kind of a fun idea that they were gonna do. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
A lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Trying to see if I can get to the backer kit. There it is. Yeah. So yeah, some of the stretch goals that were completed. Looks like we're now going to get a pterodactyl, a flying megalodon. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All the elder gyro squid. So that was what we were talking about earlier. Winged trolls. That's a new one. That'll be a different one for sure.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah.
A troll flying up to you and tearing you in half.
So that's something that didn't mention as well is, are we getting new monsters?
So for this one,
Hmm.
there I do not believe that there are new monsters. The
Okay.
idea is that if this is successful, which I think it was obviously, but the idea is then they would have further books um, to kind of flesh out some more of this. So they would have the book with monsters, they would have the book with like intelligent dragons, they would do things like that.
Okay.
There will be, I think there will be a few monsters in it,
Hmm. Like the giant, like the
but
flying troll.
yeah, things like that. So, but I don't know that the majority of the book will be dedicated to that. So
Yeah. Sadly, well, maybe we'll make it. I don't know. Let's see what we're at. It's be real hard. We need to push for that 112. I want to see what a gelatinous cloud looks like.
right.
Yeah. So looks like we're getting to, you're adding on things like pawns and mats. I'm crazy, so of course I got the leatherbound edition because it was very pretty. So I had to. I have an addiction to leatherbound books right now. It's not good. I bought the whole Lord of the Rings series. I have both of my Pendragon books in leather. I have the One Ring Durin's book in leather. It's bad. So as soon as I saw it, I had to get it. So that's kind of where it was at with me.
That
Um,
I mean, I don't judge you. That's kind of fine.
don't judge you. It's getting to be more pricey than it needs to be, though. That is for sure. The
Well,
books are
that
getting a
is part of it. I
little
always try
higher.
to like, even if I, even if I'm getting like an author copy, I still
Yeah,
always try to support and
yeah,
like be like, what if one of them gets wrecked, or
yeah. Absolutely.
what
What
if
if
I
I
want to
want
give
to?
one away, or
Yeah. The message from Gooey Jim, it says everything can be a monster if you piss it off enough. That's
I mean
true.
that's true.
Um, and I guess you are right with that. In that perspective, though, is all these creatures who are technically mounts can technically be monsters too. So they're built that
Oh,
way.
yeah,
It
for
looks
sure.
like. So um, I'm curious to see are you going to be providing? I don't know if this was something that was thought about or not. Is there a if you wanted to do like if you wanted to build your own dragon, these are kind of the model you would use, similar to how they did like, hey, if you want to blend uh, 5e OG with 2024, this is what you would have to add. Have there been any thought on that or no?
I don't think so. Not
Okay,
in At least not in this
in this
in
one,
this iteration, yeah.
yeah,
Because there
yeah.
is a point where a book gets too much,
Oh yeah,
unfortunately.
I mean this still looks like a pretty hefty book.
Oh yeah, it'll have a
Um,
lot of stuff in it.
yeah, so I mean definitely more than enough for anybody to build an adventure. Like she said, there is no actual adventure in here. This is more a concept to use and supplement to use for new rule sets and things like that, which is still going to be a lot of fun. Um,
Yeah, I think that there was talk of doing an adventure, and there might be still. They might change, and throw one in there.
yeah.
But right now, I think there's not. But
So
you know, they had a bigger response, I think, than they were thinking originally to this.
okay,
So that's a good sign. And so
yeah.
and they liked what they were seeing. So Goodman Games really liked what was turned in. They were like, "Oh my god, this stuff is cool. Yeah, we can't use all of it."
Right. Put it in the background. We'll get it next time.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened there.
Yeah.
So
So what's this? Because I don't know if everybody else knows what this is, and I'm only just seeing these things. What are these OG 5e journals? Like, what is that actually going to is being utilized with?
so that is a new thing that they have. So it's
Okay.
going to be like a magazine. It'll have you seen, if anybody saw the old like Dungeons and Dungeon magazine or Dragon
Mm-hmm.
magazine, or even some of the ones various other companies, sort of the same sort of idea. So they'll
Okay.
have like articles, and here's how to DM, and here's how to be a good player, create memorable monsters, or
Right.
here's some new rules, or some feats, classes, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
So it'll have a lot of that variety. Here's a small adventure. Here's a, you know, here's a just a map that's cool.
Hmm.
So it'll have a lot of bits and bobs that don't necessarily fit totally into a book, but
Okay.
are pretty cool and still good things to know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything that really anything anybody in the audience wants to know about, like this is a good chance for you to ask those questions. Um, I'm always curious, how long was the process to write this?
Everything is a little bit of a different every company has a different process.
Yeah.
And some are like, let's go, and some are, a little more lackadaisical,
Yeah.
but those ones are hard. Like if you don't give me a deadline, it's not getting done.
That's kind
But
of, yeah,
for
I
me, it
feel
gets
that.
kicked down the road.
Yeah.
But they were pretty good. It was about a 4-month turnaround or so.
Okay.
And they did everything in stages.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, all right, we're starting with the mounts. Everybody do your mounts. Here's your due date.
Yeah.
Okay, mounts are in. You do feats, you do maneuvers, you do spells.
Yeah.
Everybody turn, that kind of thing.
Nice.
So it was broken up. And we had the holiday in there, like Christmas and stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff didn't get done. But
A lot of stuff didn't get done.
well, like nobody was really working hard.
Yeah, no, I got you. It was just funny the way they said it. You're like, yeah, a lot of stuff didn't get done. That's all right. We all know that the holidays catches up for everybody. So, um, yeah, but like I said, it looks like a great book. It looks like a lot of work was put into it. I'm really excited to see how the aerial combat is going to work. Like I said, I'm always down to challenging players, and I think there's a way to do it is to throw them in a 3D version instead of a 2D version. Um, Not to mention, my players are super powered, so the fact that I can punt one off the aerial craft just sounds like fun.
I mean, that's the idea. And I didn't go into super details because I'm not sure if I am allowed to. So
Absolutely, yeah.
I was like, some of this I got to be kind of vague, and it's not as
Yeah,
helpful. But
nope, we understand. Like I said, this is just kind of a clip shot of what is going to be in the book. For those of you who have backed, of course, the 1,100 backers is nothing to snuff at. It's a good number. You guys blew your actual goal out of the water, which is awesome. And yeah,
and
I'm
I
sure we get
I
something
believe
new.
this is Goodman Games' first foray into 5e.
Oh,
So because they usually do the Dungeon Crawl classics and things of that sort. So
yeah. So this is
and they
their
may have
dive
done
into.
one or two, but this was their first big one.
Okay, yeah. Are we going to get, because I'm more of a sadly I'm more of a Dungeon Crawl Classics OSR fan myself. Since we've had nothing but Shadow Dark on all week for special reports because they're
Which is
dropping so
awesome.
many things, which is amazing. Are we gonna get a version of this in OSE or in Shadow Dark, something like that? Is that a talk?
So they had talked about it, and I don't
Yeah.
know what the
What
decision
the
was.
darn. Because like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Sadly, that would be even more deadly because it's already deadly in
Yes, they would be.
OSC. But yeah. Yeah, does the audience have any questions? Anything about the mounts, anything about the combat, anything about the writing, anything? I definitely want to get those questions answered. For somebody who's done a little bit of writing here and there, that's why I was curious on what your time frame was for this one, because like you said, there are companies that are a little bit more relaxed in where they're going to put their time, and the other ones that are very stringent on it. So
It is a very interesting process, but I always feel like everybody is like, all right, we're ready for this program. Now we need it now.
yeah,
Go.
exactly.
Okay, like it takes a while to even just think of stuff, okay?
Yeah, like my brain's got to do the little turns for a couple minutes. Let's figure this all out first.
Yeah.
So you said you did a lot of reading in the systems, and then you went back and you read, Dragon Riders Pern and Fourth Wing and those types of books like that. Um, were there any other types of media that were helpful for you in getting your mindset into something like aerial combat?
Um, no, usually reading is more inspiring to me. Like I said, but I do get inspiration from random, like random places. Like I said, like I was watching a show on big cats, and I was like, "What do you mean? There's an actual flying squid?" I was like, so I try to think of things, and then I do research.
Oh, we lose it?
I made a for like snow or like a cold, cold snow scorpion fly.
Oh, wow.
Um, which, yeah, I was like, oh, that'd be cool, but my research, I laughed for like days because apparently that stinging tail isn't a tail.
I don't
Yeah,
know if we want
we're
to
just
go into
gonna
that or
leave it at
not.
that.
On
We're just gonna leave it at that. But this is
yeah,
fantasy, so it is in this thing. But I was
yeah.
like, oh my god.
All right. Well,
I was like,
thanks.
I've learned too much now.
I've learned too much. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Why am I doing research?
I mean, eh. uh, yeah, the connection. Okay. Gooey Jim asked, does the book delve into bonding with the mounts, or is it even on an animalistic level, or the connection, or is it more just the spell is cast and you bond?
No, there is a description,
Okay.
or at least was. So we'll see what happens in the final book when it comes out. Sometimes
Yeah.
things get cut, but there was actually, and each of the classes and each of the feats and each of the mounts themselves have descriptive text, so you
Okay.
can see like here's the actual idea instead of just you are a monk who kicks things out of the air, or you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was I really enjoyed doing that a lot because I feel like that is something that is missing more in new
Modern day.
editions.
Yeah. Newer
Yeah,
editions.
yeah, and I get it, but I like to have, even if it's just, you know 3 sentences, something.
I kind of agree with you though. It's like I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like if we lost 10 monsters and you gave me flavor text for the monsters instead, like I don't think most people would be complaining about that because it allows you to understand the monster a little bit more,
Yeah,
or
and that
feet
was
or stuff
kind of
like
the
that.
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, Buncherm says, can any of the flying dragons mounts be ridden by more than one player character?
They can,
Okay.
depending on personality and size.
Ah, okay.
And if your DM says it's fine. I mean, always the DM can say, yeah, it's always up
Yeah.
to your DM, but yes.
But there is mechanics to it if you ride, I'm guessing, with more than one person on it.
Yep.
Cool. That is exciting.
That's a good question. Those are good questions though.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely. I'm guessing they both backed it because these are very targeted questions to the story, which I love. It's awesome. Um, we've got about 5 more minutes. Does anybody have any additional questions? Tony, do you have uh, anything you want to say about the book we haven't already caught? I know you're kind of not able to talk about everything in the book, of course, because
Well, I can't. I have to be vague.
big with a
And
lot
the
of
other
the
thing
stuff.
is sometimes in editing things change.
Things
Like
change,
they're like,
right? Yeah, you don't want to.
oh,
You don't want to pitch. You don't put yourself in a hole and be like, "Well, you said on this channel that this
right.
is how it was gonna." Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want
Yeah.
that.
Like I know like one or two things, like I think the names changed of like some of the mounts that I had made,
Mhm.
which was fine. That's easy, didn't
Yeah,
like it, done fine. But I tend to be a little more descriptive too, so some of those would probably because of that.
yeah.
But I don't know. We talked about, like I said, it's very crunchy too, so it's gonna
Mhm.
have a good here's the actual rules, and it's
Mhm.
gonna have also good here's flavor too for your campaign. And the
Oh,
idea
okay.
is, yes, they will be able to insert into any sort of campaign. So like I I am playing in a Dragonlance home campaign, and I already was
Ooh.
like, so
So can I
interesting.
try this out?
Yeah, I was like, when I was writing, I'm like, should I write something for my character specifically?
Are you playing one of your classes?
No,
No.
because this campaign has been going on for a while. So
Yeah.
I am actually a Kender monk.
Oh, okay.
So they couldn't get rid of me. So I just watched them, and I thought it seemed fun to run really fast and hit things in the head when they were naughty.
Heck yeah.
Man, they
That
tried to chase me
works.
away, and I kept
They
getting
can't.
back in somehow, and finally they just gave up.
Yeah, they can't catch you. So I mean, kinders are tricky creatures.
Yeah, so
So
it's fun.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think this is awesome, and congratulations to, like I said, the Kickstarter doing as well as it did, and hopefully that means that we've got new projects on the road, or down the road, and yeah, big shout out to Goodman Games stepping into another realm. Like I said, I've heard a lot of their stuff when it comes to OSR and it comes to DCC, but like stepping into the OG Dungeons and Dragons is a step, and it looks like you guys did really well with, like I said, with the $88,000 and 1,100 backers. So I mean that's a big deal.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and they did a good job, and they were great to work with.
yeah.
They were awesome. That's
So,
not necessarily always the case either. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, there's been a couple times, but most of the time,
I mean, thankfully, this space is pretty kind to its people.
yeah,
Especially in the Kickstarter world, just because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of
it's a
work,
ton of work.
especially for a lot of people who are not full time, writers or full time artists, and especially specifically for those items. So then they've got to put extra time and effort into those during those time frames. Um, Last thing, just because we haven't had a lot of time to talk about you on this, but like, what's your next project, if you don't mind me asking?
Um,
What's something
I
we should
have a
be
lot of
looking
NDAs.
forward to coming up? Oh yeah, no, I feel that.
I have a lot of, I'm trying to think. I'm working on some editing right now.
Okay.
I will have a game hole adventure for
Oh,
Alex
nice.
at Game Home. That's not
For the
secret.
Western
Um,
Marches, right?
yeah, Western Marches.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I would do one. So that'd be fun.
Nice.
I kind of have an idea of what I'm going to do, and I started, kind of poking at it. I got some
Mhm.
time though, so. Um, and then I am working. I don't know if that's a secret. So I I'm working on some one-page dungeons
Okay.
for some the company, and so Jerry Shepard is pretty
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, she is.
Yep. So I'm working with her on a couple projects.
Cool.
But I think that I could talk about the one-page dungeon, but the rest of it I think is a
Yep.
secret.
I think I might have some ideas on at least one or two other ones, but I'm
Yeah,
going to keep those quiet because I do have a little bit of a connection with some of the people that you work with as well, and I don't know what I'm allowed to say, and I don't have NDAs
yeah,
and all that stuff.
that's always hard. Like, and some places are real good about it, and some
Yeah,
places are not so good. And
yeah,
but I am still I'm still an admin for Adventures League, for Wizards
nice,
Adventures League, and their new Legends of Greyhawk. I will have a
cool,
Legends of Greyhawk adventure premiere at GaryCon,
awesome.
so that'll be fun. And I think the rest of the projects are
Under
I had to be
under
silent about.
wraps. Yep.
Yeah. And then
I
the
was
thing
gonna
is that
say if
some of
there's
them
another
don't come out for
Kickstarter
like
that,
a year. And you're
yeah,
like,
that's the thing.
ugh.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you have an upcoming Kickstarter that's something that we might want to throw out there, but if like you said,
Not at
it's too
this
busy at the moment.
moment.
Yeah, no worries.
Not
Well,
not yet. I did have other ones that have recently finished up. So like I worked with MCDM a bunch.
okay.
And so I was part of the author group that worked on their Crack the Sun Kickstarter that just finished.
Oh, awesome.
So stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is the last chance. If you want to ask any other questions about Dragon Riders Primer before we close out for the evening, um, and we are not done with special reports this month. They keep coming in. Oh my goodness. We did Druscara on Tuesday. We did Righteous Vow and Titanbound on Wednesday as a double feature for Tavern Talks. We've got tonight we were doing Dragon Riders Primer. And then on Tuesday, we're doing Godzilla. Like, it's crazy going on right now. But Tony, thanks for jumping in. Hopefully, we got a chance to highlight some of the cool things that are happening here with the Dragon Riders Primer. And keep an eye out. This Monday, we're going to be dropping back in the back online for episode 3 of Candela Obscura, our new upcoming live play. And then we will not have. We just found out tonight our guest is canceled, which is kind of a good thing for Wednesday, because 3 of us of our Misfit teams will be at Gary Con, where you can come say hi and hang out and grab stickers and all that cool stuff. And I get to see Tony. So there's that too.
I will also be there. I will be running around like a wild person because apparently I schedule too many things.
Yeah, I did the same thing. It's my play con though. It's the only con I don't work at in the convention circle. So this is the one I play way too many games at. But you're only there for a weekend. You don't have a chance, so you got to get in as much as you can. So yeah. So we'll see everybody in a couple days. Hopefully you come out and check out the new Candela game or Candela show, and then Godzilla on Tuesday, which is pretty awesome. Anyways, thank you for another special report here on Tavern Talks. Dragon Riders Primer sounds like a blast. If you didn't get a chance to, hopefully they're going to do a late backer kit or late backers they can apply. Otherwise, for those that get
I hope so. I already had 3 people message me and be like, I missed it.
Yeah.
Oh no. Like, I'm trying to order. I'm like,
yeah. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for coming in, hanging out with us, asking all the questions, and we'll see you guys all for the next special report here on Tavern Talks. Have a good day.
Thanks for having me.